What is up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. I think you guys are going to get a lot of value out of this. If you guys are new to the channel, if you do get value out of this video, I really appreciate you guys subscribing. Give me a like, give me a comment if you guys have any questions. My goal is to help as many traders as possible. So we took a couple banger trades this week, and I want to show you guys how those worked out and why I took them, the confluences that I had in my mind when taking them, and I want to explain it all. There should be a lot of gems in this video for you guys to digest and understand. So watch this video all the way through to get the full grasp of how I trade and my strategy. And again, if you guys are new to the channel, I really appreciate you guys subscribing. It helps the channel out. And give this video a thumbs up, again, if you get value out of this video. If you don't, feel free to not subscribe and never watch any of my videos again. That's fine too. But I appreciate you guys. Let's go ahead and get into the charts. I don't want to waste too much of your time. Let's get into it. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and get into the charts portion of this video, the meat and potatoes. So this was really a higher time frame trade, 4 hour, 1 hour type of entry, but the entries defined even further all the way down to the 5 minute. So this is a trade this is like your trade that I would risk a little bit more on because I was so confident in this trade playing out. The only reason I didn't risk more than 1% is because there was news coming out. So if there wasn't news coming out and it was just a regular day, I would have probably risked 1.5%, maybe 2%. If I'm taking a challenge, if I'm on live funded, I would not have risked 2%. But anyways, here we go. So this is UJ on the 4 hour time frame, and as you can see, we're on a clear bullish trend, clear uptrend here, trading above the 200. And we had some news come out. This I guess was last week that really pushed us up fast, and then we started to consolidate a little bit, but still pretty bullish, still way above the 200, and we ended up flying up right here, creating a demand zone on the 4 hour time frame. Now let's start breaking it down. So we go to the 1 hour time frame. This demand zone is still valid, and then I have this little trend line I have here with a few touches just to see, I like drawing trend lines on multiple time frames, but higher time frame trend lines just to see, okay, if it breaks that, we're probably going to come all the way down here and start a downtrend. So that's why my stop loss was placed 1 underneath the demand zone, 2 underneath that trend line in case it wanted to come a little bit past, tap the trend line, and then fly, because that's also happened. I've also seen that before too. So like I said, this is the 1 hour time frame. But as you can see, I have my demand zone drawn here, and it's super small. So if we go to the 5 minute, you can see a clear demand zone right here on the 5 minute. And although this was, pretty far back in the past, that demand zone was created on Tuesday, and this trade was placed on Wednesday. So usually, if I'm just trading strictly the 5 minute time frame, I'm not going to take a trade based off of a 5 minute demand zone that was, a full 24 hours beforehand. I would not trade like that. I would only go off the most recent demand or supply zones with my strategy. However, this was a 1 hour and a 4 hour, multiple high time frame demand zone and congruent with the 5 minute demand zone. This is going to increase your win rate significantly. But like I said, there was news that was going to drop right as it was hitting this demand zone, so I only risked 1% instead of, even more than that. Really, I could have, if I only wanted to respect the 5 minute demand zone, I could have had my stop like less than 20 pips. But I really was thinking about this in a higher time frame trade. I was going to hold it for 100 pips was my original TP. So I have my a stop loss with some more breathing room in case it wants to really stretch down here, bounce off this trend line. If it goes below that, hits my stop loss, I know that I'm just completely wrong and that the market's going to start a downtrend. And I'd be fine with that loss because, again, I'm not over leveraging. I'd be fine with it. Okay, I'm wrong. But the majority of the time, this trade's going to play out. So that's why I was so confident in it. So let me go back to the 1 hour just because it's a little bit cleaner because there's so many candles because this was a longer term trade. Now, my original TP was set right here at 100 pips. And as you can see, we smacked that fairly quickly, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 8 hours into the trade, which for a really, 1 hour, 4 hour time frame trade, that's not too bad, but it's still pretty long, especially for me, considering I usually trade the 5 or 15-minute time frame. But as you can see, this demand zone was just respected beautifully. And so we came up here, almost no drawdown on this trade. I literally had like 7 or 8 pips of drawdown, and then it just flew when news came out. So news came out, and it just popped up here. I took out most of my entry at around, it was around right at 75 pips, which was like right here. It had this huge wick, came back down, came right back up, and once it came up to this area, like reaching these highs over here from earlier in the day, that's when I was like, you know what? News came out, it might, do a new fly during news and then tank. So I was like, let me just secure some profit. So I secured about 80% of my position right here at 75 pips, and then just had my TP, my original TP again was at 100 pips. So I just held that there, but this trade played out so long that I ended up just holding it overnight. So by the time I woke up the next morning, price was actually up here, and I ended up closing my position right here at 170 pips. That's how far my runner went, and I had my my entry protected, obviously. So again, at around 75 pips, just around these highs, just to protect my trade and not let everything come back against me and just hit stop loss or hit break even. Worst case scenario, I protected the entry, closed out around 80-85% of my profits, and then let a runner run, and that ended up running 170 pips. And I was okay with waking up and it hitting break even and me not making money on that runner. But even that runner, it was a small position, made me over 0.5% on my challenge. So that's a great, just a great trade, honestly, and had so many confluences. Just even though we're so high in the trend and UJ's been trending bullish for so long, this is the type of trend that you don't want to trade against. I wouldn't want to try and predict news and think, you know what, this is where the reversal is going to happen. That's how you're going to get caught in losses more often than not, is if you're trying to catch the reversal. And so I went with the trend, demand zone, was trading above the 200 moving average. I mean, this trade just had everything that I usually look for, but multiple time frame confluences, 4 hour, 1 hour, and 5 minute demand. It didn't have the 15-minute demand, which I would have liked even better, but it still had the 5-minute demand along with the higher time frame demand. So I was very confident in this trade. I was like 90% confident that this trade was going to play out, but again, news was coming out, so I'm not going to risk my whole account, 50% of my account, just to try and pass a challenge or risk a bunch of my personal funds because I'm confident in the trade. Because we all know you can be really confident, everything can line up, and the trade can still go against you. You always have to remember that. So that was the first trade I took on UJ this week. Actually, the next day on Thursday, yesterday, I took another trade. So let me exit this replay mode and see if I can find where this trade was. It wasn't on the 1 hour, it was on the smaller time frames. It was when we were going back down. I took a sell. Okay, I already see it right here. So we had this huge move up, which I profited off of heavily on the 170 pips. And then when I woke up Thursday morning, I noticed that we started topping out here, and then we started making movement downward. Again, we're still in a bullish trend, but on the smaller time frames, there was supply zones created on the 5-minute time frame, and we started trading below the 200 moving average. So I knew this wasn't going to be a long-term hold, but I had this supply zone drawn up. I had this supply zone drawn up. And I can even go replay mode and just replay to here. So again, this was Thursday, yesterday, and I just want to kind of walk you through this trade and let you guys know what I was thinking and why I took this trade. So we're coming down again off this off this big uptrend. So I knew that I'm not gonna, if I'm taking a sell off a supply zone, that I wasn't gonna hold it for a long time. I had that in my mind. But we took this trade. Let me see. This is blocking my inch. Here we go. All right. This is the trade we took. But let me show you exactly what I was thinking. So price was moving down, and it started coming down here, trading below the 200 moving average, creating bearish structure, breaking this. Let me show you exactly what I had drawn up. It broke this structure right here. Again, trading below the 200 moving average and creating these supply zones right at it. So I didn't know when we came down here. I had both of these zones drawn up because you don't know if price is going to react off of this supply zone, or if it's going to react off this supply zone, or if it's going to fly through them. So I was just waiting for the market, waiting patiently to see how it was going to play out. And that's why I don't like setting a sell limit at a supply zone or a buy limit at a demand zone, because you never know if price is just going to fly through it. That's why I like to watch it live. Just be patient and react to it. So price ended up coming up. It started wicking down and making this bearish candle right here coming off of this supply zone. So I just thought, you know what? This is rejecting the first supply zone. It's not going to come up to the second one. This 200 is starting to curl over right here. So I enter literally right here at the bottom of that. And I'm only risking 10 pips on this trade. So I risked 10 pips and I just went for a 1 to 2. So risking 10 pips to go for 20 pips, 1 to 2 risk to reward, and it ended up 1 candle, 2 candles. On the third candle, boom, hit TP, and it even went further, but I took out my entry here at a 1 to 2 risk to reward, because again, I was in the mindset that I'm not going to hold this long term and just hope for a 100, 200 pip rip down to the downside, because we're on such an uptrend on the higher time frames. And if you're trading against the trend on higher time frames and you're trading supply and demand, you're trading this strategy on the 5-minute or even the 15-minute time frame, on the lower time frames, you're going to want to not hold your trades. Maybe you can leave a runner if you really want to in case it actually does reverse, but I usually would like to get out at a 1 to 2 if it goes to 1 to 2 on these trades on lower time frames, because you know that price is most likely going to stop somewhere and continue as a bullish trend. So, and that actually ended up happening, but it actually went a little bit deeper than I thought it might, and then went back up and created an uptrend, and it just flew up today again. So those were the two trades. Caught it on the way up, caught it on the way down. Obviously not a monster trade on the way down, but a 1 to 2 risk to reward, risking 1% or even 0.5%. That's money all day. That's a good trade. So I hope you guys got something out of this video. I know that I was, just doing this kind of on the fly, but I wanted you guys to know like what my thoughts were, what I was thinking about when I was in these trades and when I was looking for them. Patience was the game this week, waiting for these trades to set up. I could have entered a number of these trades way too early and just gotten stopped out right away, or gotten a little bit of profit, just hit break even. But waiting patiently for your entries and understanding the market on higher time frames versus lower time frames. Like I said, trading this 5-minute supply and demand strategy, or even if you're trading it on the 15-minute, because it works the same on all time frames, but be aware of your higher time frames and make sure if you're going to go against the trend, a counter trend move on higher time frames, that you're not thinking that you're just going to hold this trade forever and it's going to reverse. No, because 90% of the time that's not going to happen, and you're going to end up getting stopped out. And you're going to be mad. Why isn't this trading, or why doesn't this strategy work? Why do I keep getting hit break even? You might not be aware of the higher time frames. But if you're trading with the higher time frames, that's when leaving runners can really pay off and pay dividends for you guys. You guys can leave 0.5% on your runner and just have it protected at break even. And if that thing rips, you could make honestly more on your runner than you did on your initial 70-80% of your position that you take out at your desired TP, which, would ideally be at least a 1 to 2, maybe 1 to 3. So hope you guys got something good out of this video. Let me know if you guys did, if you guys have any questions, if something didn't make sense. I'm trying to get better at explaining, what's going on in my head and relaying it to you guys in a way that is digestible and that you can understand it. So again, appreciate it. If you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe for more and to keep up with how I'm doing. If you guys didn't watch my last video, I am taking a 10K challenge right now. I am up 2% on that challenge currently, so decent start. Still have a lot of time left, so not too worried about it, but definitely want to have a good week next week. Maybe get over the line, or at least be close to hitting my profit target for phase 1 on that. But again, hope you guys had a good trading week. Comment any questions or even video ideas you guys might have below. I'll see you on the next one.